Cobra fans, welcome back to the Cobras Corner. I'm James Brown here again with Coach Josh Resignalo. Coach, I'm getting excited. It feels like football time. It's getting close. Tell me some exciting news about our season.
Yeah, so we're excited. You know, we are definitely going to be playing our season. The NAL is doing a great job of making sure everything is in place to be able to do that. All the owners are working with the commissioner and making sure we can get a good schedule in place. The length of schedule is all going to determine when we get started, and we're looking right now towards the end of June, beginning of July timeframe to be able to get started. It's all based off the local governments of each local city and the arenas and the towns, you know, where we're going to be at. And every place is gradually getting into a little better position to be able to have an idea, you know, what's going on. I was at our arena today, you know, getting some things, and you know, the people there working, so it's stuff are starting to, you know, get back to where they need to be, and I can see us for sure, you know, making things happen. As far as from a fan standpoint, I'm not sure what those restrictions are going to be. You know, that's the stuff that's up in the air about our capacities. And I've heard different things thrown out there of 25% capacity. You know, for the Greensboro Coliseum, you know, it's seats a 20,000+, you know, facility. So 25% of that for us, you know, that's wheelhouse for us. You know, we can make it work. And, you know, the management there are doing a great job. Their main concern is safety, you know, for the community and for their tenants.
So the good news is we're not talking cancel. We're talking season.
It's just a matter of when.
It's just a matter of the details.
Details and a matter of when we get started.
Players want to play. That's
Absolutely.
the thing about players. Love to play the game. And this game promises to be exciting, especially here for the 2020 Cobras. Tell us a little bit about some of the excitement coming into the season and what can we look forward to for our Cobras?
Yeah, so I think, you know, overall, you know, the Cobras have been pretty successful. You know, the first two seasons, winning the championship their first year, and we're making it back to the championship in year two. Fell short at the end. So I think year three for us is just going to be, you know, championship or bust. I mean, we've been in the championship the last two seasons. You know, technically, since we didn't win last year, we're still one of the top teams, and, you know, people are going to be gunning for us. But at the same time, there's been a lot of change up, so people don't think the Cobras are going to be the same that they used to be, and you know, we got a little something for that. So
nothing like high expectations, huh, Coach?
You know how it is. That's how it's got to be.
Hey, can I borrow a phrase? The ceiling is the roof. Here we go, right? We're ready to play.
The expectations are high, but they should be at any level. You know, this being in that championship game last year wasn't the first time that I've been in a championship, so I've actually won one myself in 2018, the same year that the Cobras won theirs. I won the championship in the league that we were in, and that was my first championship win. You know, been in a couple championship games, have been fortunate to win one, but I want to win another one. And there's a lot of players on our team this year that have won championships, that want to get back there, that's been in the same situation, has been in some games and lost them. And so we got a great veteran group and got a lot of guys that's been in those situations, and I'm excited to put it all together.
You know, they say there's something special about a championship pedigree, that once you win that championship, there's something in you, right? And unfortunately, I've never had that. I've never been a champion. I'll go ahead and say that. But how does it feel now that you've got a championship from a couple of years ago, as you said? How does that feel? How does that shape you going into the next season?
I think it's more of like I wouldn't say like a relief would be the right word, but it's, you put all the work in and like satisfaction, you know, you do all this stuff and all this hard work put into it, all the preparation, you know, to come up short, you know, is not a very good feeling. Yeah. But to actually complete it and win the whole thing, you know, that kind of puts a whole cap, you know, so to speak, on everything that you've been through to that point. You know, last year we had a lot of ups and downs. You know, it was a lot of different adversity that a lot of people don't see. We had a lot of injuries, you know, guys going down, people going in and out, you know, changing a lot of personnel on the offensive line. You know, that was tough for us. You know, all around, when you're facing all those things and you're battling, you just want to envision yourself to be in a situation where you don't have to deal with all the injuries and the different things you got to do from a personnel standpoint, from operations, and you know, you just want to be able to do what you do, and players play and do what they need to do and just put it together. And when you can be in that situation and be successful, you know, you're going to do a lot of different things and have a lot of fun at the same time. Winning brings, you know, excitement, but you know, you try to find the guys that can keep that attitude and that drive when things are tough. Those are when the real leaders come out. You know, when the fire hits the fan, you know, who's going to go into the fire and make stuff happen. You know, I've been coaching for quite a while too, so I've got a lot of different connections out there. I've got a lot of players that have played with me through the past, and just the ability to be able to have some those connections out there with scouts and agents and stuff like that, like we're going to be able to build a good roster. We have to this point, but we're always upgrading. With all the other leagues canceling or shutting down to the next 2021, there's a lot of people that are reaching out. So there's a lot of players out there. You know, there's hundreds and hundreds of players that are looking for places to play. Everyone thinks they're going to play in the NFL until that time comes where the phone don't ring, and then they're going to figure out what they're going to do. You know, that's where our level comes into play, to give those guys that opportunity and that platform to continue playing and advance their career. So I don't see it as a problem to change and add players. You know, we're going to have some familiar faces. We're going to have some new faces. We're going to have some faces that people recognize that have been on other teams that are going to be with us this year. So that in itself, to be able to put it together, you know, I feel for myself as a coach through the years have done a good job to being able to put guys in the right place and building the right groups to be successful. It's just this year, I think I can't wait to get to practice and get going with it.
Last time we talked about how there's a coach's role in helping set the strategy, but that the players actually control a lot of things on the field. Are there any players that you're really going to lean on to get you where you need to go this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all lean on each other. I don't think there's going to be anyone specific that I lean on one person or two people that they got to do what they got to do for us to be successful, because one or two people don't make the team. You know, it's everyone, a collective effort. Both on the offensive side and the defensive side, there's going to be some guys that's got some experience and been in the situations that we're preparing ourselves to be in to be successful. And some of those guys will be able to teach some of the guys that haven't been in those moments. And a lot of that's going to come from preparation and in the film and in practice and the extra stuff that we do. That's what's going to separate us from, you know, the success and the differences on the outcome of each game of who puts in more work.
I know you as an offensive mind when we played together. Of course, last year you were the defensive coordinator, so that gives you, I think, great perspective as a head coach. Tell me, what do you think some of your strongest characteristics are as a coach?
I think the ability to have a plan and get into the game, and then when stuff hits the fan, to be able to make adjustments. You know, the games come down from the coaching standpoint, who can make the fastest adjustments and who can outwit the other one, you know, before the other one finds out, you know, the game plan of the other person. So it's a chess match all around, and that's what I enjoy about the coaching aspect of it. I'm a competitive person with everything that I do, so I try my best to be better than the other coach, so we can limit our mistakes from a coach, because coaches make mistakes too, from time management to when they should have made a certain call and when they should put the right personnel in. And when you got coaches that aren't very experienced, you can take advantage of those situations. Because in the arena game, if you wait too long for some stuff, it can bite you in the butt. You can score as many points as you can and catch up. No lead is safe, but you can bury yourself by making, you know, poor choices.
I'm sure your eye as a quarterback helps as well, not only in reading the defense, so having to know everything about defense, but knowing your own offense, knowing all the positions there. So quarterback probably gives you a pretty unique perspective as a coach. Is that right?
Absolutely. Even from on the defensive side, that's why I love coaching the defense. You know, one, with my attitude and my mentality, I like to be aggressive. Knowing what the offense is trying to do and do some different things on defense and putting guys in positions to make plays, you know, based on what the offense is doing. You know, I enjoyed that. And you do different things and mixing up the secondaries a little bit, do some different things that you might not see very often, but it's still the same stuff, because there's only so much that we can do. Right. Just how you disguise it, you know, so to speak. So from an offensive standpoint, I love attacking what the defense is trying to do. You know, we find what the defensive weaknesses are, and we exploit them. And we'll have the players and the firepower to do that. We'll have great quarterback play. I think our O-line will be the best O-line that the Cobras have had the last couple seasons. You know, last year with the offensive line, we struggled just because of injuries and replacing guys, and have that continuity with the line, and the quarterback play is huge. And if you don't have that, you know, it's going to be tough. You know, Chuck's production last year from the first year was great difference from his 100+ touchdowns. So I think he maybe had 60 or something year two, but he was, you know, he got hit a lot, you know, and I think he got hit a lot in the first year too, but they was just able to, you know, make plays and took guys by surprise with the, you know, the receiver corps they had with Laughing House. You know, he was pretty successful, which, you know, that's, you know, we're looking to, you know, possibly see him again coming up. So that'd be pretty cool. But from last year, you know, just we struggled. And I think if we were solid and consistent on the O-line, we probably had been close to being undefeated to for sure winning that championship game. And that's pretty much where our weakness is at. Okay.
Now, you've got a lot of experience playing outdoor football and coaching outdoor football. What's the biggest difference between outdoor and indoor? What do you see as a huge difference in those two games?
I think for me would be the personnel side. From a professional side in the arena game, we're coaching guys technique and scheme, not how to play football. On the outside youth side, high school, we're teaching them how to play the game and scheme and technique. So they're getting thrown a lot at them. But being the offensive coach outside, you know, being air raid and the spread court offensive stuff, you know, that's fast paced. I love it. For me, that translates to the arena game perfectly because of the passing style and the air raid, the spread stuff. It's a lot of arena concepts. So any quarterback would love being in the arena style just because of the pass happy league it is. So for me, the transition is pretty easy. The hard part for me is going back from the professional athlete back to the high school athlete. Is two totally different.
Tough to do.
Yep, dimension.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, some of the arena quarterbacks that I talk to talk about the speed of the game and the speed of their reads and having to get rid of the ball quickly, and you know the shortened time that they have as far as protection and getting rid of the ball. Do you see that? Do you see that difference between the outdoor and indoor quarterback?
Yeah, so the processing things. You know, you still have your pre-snap reads and your adjustments and whatnot, but when the ball snap and post reads are way different in the arena style than outdoor because everything is happening much faster. Quarterbacks don't have a lot of time to get rid of the football indoors. So speaking from experience myself, playing both outside and inside, I found that when I played indoor and then would go back outside, the outside game just slowed down completely because of the more field and the more space, and it's slowed down so much. And I think so when you take that same mentality from guys who've never played indoor coming from outside in, everyone thinks that they're the best at what they do, but when they get in that arena game, it's a totally different animal, and they have to adjust pretty fast, or they're not going to make it. There's been some really good NFL players that come into the arena style game and are just bust. Just because they played in the NFL don't mean they're going to make it in the arena game.
Gotcha. And the guys up front, of course, I love the guys up front, right? And the up front game is different too. Tell me a little bit about that.
So the up front game, you know, you got 3-on-3, basically it's 1-on-1 all night. And you got your MAC linebacker and your fullback, so it's just a 4-on-4 matchups, and it's pretty much who's better than the other person. And it's the arena games are you start from up front. You got to have a good quarterback, but you got to have a good O-line and D-line as well, and you can't get past that. You can fall out of bed and find a receiver or DB, but you try your hardest to get the best O-line and D-line that you can, because if you can't protect and get after theirs, it don't matter who you got running around or who's throwing the football. If I'm not protected as a quarterback, it don't matter what we're doing. So that up front has always been a key for me to make sure that we've had good people up front, and then the quarterback play. And then you get your best receivers and DBs, the guys that can make plays and fit as a group. You're going to have your better receivers that are better than one another, but it's about the group of receivers and the group of DBs is going to make you successful. That's
right. What'd you say last time? Protect ours and get after theirs.
That's right. That's it.
Right. So this week we have a new segment, and Coach, you're going to talk to some of the players from the team this upcoming season and tell us a little bit more about football and get into some X's and O's.
Yeah, so we just wanted to add something, you know, to what we've been doing with the players, and I just wanted to I felt it was important to have the players engage a little bit as far as how their background translates into where we're going, you know, for the success for the Cobras, and what that looks like for them, and what their future looks like, you know, maybe after the Cobras.
All right, great. So in our next segment, we'll be back with Coach Resignalo and a couple of Cobra players.
We're here with wide receiver THYRON Lewis. Welcome back to the show.
Appreciate you for having me, Coach.
Yeah, man, always a pleasure. You know, get an opportunity to talk to you a little bit. You know, one of the things we wanted to talk about to the fans a little bit, you know, some of the transition from outside to inside, and particularly with the route running, you know, with the different ways that you run the routes. You know, what's some of the difference between like a post and a slant from outside to inside?
Pretty much the slant, I would say personally, is similar in a lot of ways as far as, you know, getting those 3 steps, getting flat. The only adjustment I would say in arena is you can take a 1 step or a delay to where the timing is almost like as you running 3 steps for that quarterback at the time. As far as the post, I mean, when I'm in motion, you know, I want to get to the middle of the field as much as I can once I hit that line of scrimmage to give that 2-way look. I mean, outdoors, you know, I'm going to get to the middle of his chest in that sense to where I have him thinking 2 different ways. Whereas in arena, I'm trying to get to the middle of the field and not necessarily the middle of his chest as the DB. And once I get to the middle of the field, now he's playing a guessing game, and I know where I need to be and where I need to go.
So talking a little bit about the slant route, as basic as a route as it is, you take 3-step or 1-step and you run flat. From an outside game, the receivers spread out a little bit more, and the linebackers really aren't in the mix from that standpoint. From the arena game, if you run too shallow, there's this thing called a jack linebacker.
Yeah.
Talk a little about that, how that kind of adjusts your route running from the indoor game.
So outdoors, like we were saying, you run that slant. Necessarily that first window, possibly getting into the second, that linebacker is really not there. Mm-hmm. That second, to mid window, you're passing the linebacker. In arena, you have that jack linebacker that could be flying right to you, taking a 1-step or, the 3 steps. He's got that 5-yard window where if you're not flat enough but at the depth to where you're behind him, he still can get a nice chuck on you. So it's really about getting to that depth, getting across basically from wrapping behind him, I would say. You're really trying to give that window to the quarterback to get the ball to you. And when you catch it, it's really you and the DB, because based off what kind of play, we run, the guys could be clearing out to where I'm running that slant route as an underneath route for us as a late check down and party seas.
Right. So now you run stationary and motion, which is another dynamic to the arena game that's different from outside. So with high motion, you start behind line of scrimmage and attack line of scrimmage for the fans that don't know. And how do you translate that? What are some of your routes that you like to run in motion versus stationary?
Honestly, you know me very well. Played for you and played against you. I really love stationary and motion. The thing I love about me is I don't necessarily need the motion to do what I do in motion stationary-wise. I can get to the same spot with my speed, of course, and the knowledge of the game, being a veteran and having the experience to do that, where to get to and where to be at that time. Motion-wise, you get a choice from starting 10 yards behind. It could be a quick motion. Building my speed up it doesn't take that long. It's, get right into it. So running in motion, you get that advantage because it puts the defense, it puts the DB in an uncomfortable spot, because if I'm hitting the line gas, full gas, and he's not knowing where I'm going, he's really got to backpedal to have enough cushion to try to break on me or not be able to get ran by. If I'm taking my time or playing with my motion and then I just gas it right off the line of scrimmage, I'm playing a mind game with him, and then it's still making him think. So I'm trying to put him in an uncomfortable spot. Same thing as stationary. Stationary, I'm trying to get inside to the middle as much as I can if it's a deep route. I'm trying to cross his face if it's a dig or a bench route. I'm trying to push it inside to make him think I'm going across the field and I'm really finna go back to the wall. It's all about positioning and knowing where to have myself and being where I need to be for the quarterback so the timing is on point.
So expanding a little bit on the motion, you mentioned how it could be an advantage for us going against the defense. But as you know, it could also be a disadvantage for us. Primarily when you have a rookie or someone that's not very experienced running the motion. Kind of talk a little bit about that mindset and that process from someone that not with a lot of experience running the motion and kind of what their disadvantages could be.
As far as for, say, a DB that may has a little experience or is a vet, and we've got a receiver that's a rookie and they don't really know how to use the motion or know to get, to the middle of the field as much as possible to give them that two-way look, and they just run straight and then run straight into a route, it puts them at a disadvantage to basically DB can break on it, DB can make an interception, turnover, cause a turnover, or the quarterback and the receiver could be off just because he didn't get to the middle of the field and get to where he needed to be, and the ball, it's a game of inches.
Well, talk about the motion, that's a big game for what we do in the arena game. And there's one particular receiver, I'm not going to say his name, but he plays for a particular team in our league, that a lot of his route running is based on his landmarks where he hits his points on the field with hashes and whatnot. Talk about a little bit how that comes into play, of how you can expand the field more based on those landmarks.
It's like I said, it's a game of inches. It's a chess match, as you say. And with those landmarks, you kind of have a two-way go on a lot of routes and a lot of combinations of the plays. You have a two-way go on a route. You can make those landmarks all look the same. Mm-hmm. So where I hit a landmark in the middle of the field where I could break post most of the time at 12, or I might push it a yard deeper, and I've ran a corner twice by doing that. I could push it a yard deeper just like I'm running a corner and run a post or run a corner post or run a post corner. Basically making those landmarks all look the same. And they could be a yard off. They could be a step or two, different. They could be the way I started. I could run the same way as far as me taking off in motion with my left foot every time on certain routes, and then my right foot on certain routes, because I know that following week who we're playing, I know he's going to be watching that. And then I can change it up, because with me, it really doesn't matter what foot. I'm not really paying attention to what foot I'm starting with or what foot I'm planning on. It's about running the right route, getting to the depth, and being there when the ball is there.
So we're getting technical, about the motion play. And when we're speaking about landmarks, we're talking about, could be the pro hashes, there's college hashes and pro hashes, and a lot of different route running is based on where you can place those marks.
Yeah.
So expanding on that from an offensive standpoint to the defensive side, you have a brother that's really good DB. So how does that translate from the defensive side, knowing what the receiver's trying to do with his motion? How do you defend that? Because for the fans, a lot of fans think that's very hard to cover the motion, and it is. It's an art. So kind of what's going through the DB's mind during that time?
As a DB, just from being able to play, playing jack and being an emergency DB, just getting some practice snaps at DB, basically you really try to pay attention to where the motion's coming from. The wide field is it coming from the wide field, the wide side of the field? Is it, wing motion in the middle? Is it the zoom on the outside? Is the guy looping around? And 9 times out of 10, you'll get a backside motion, but you don't necessarily get it when you're on that college hash, and you have that little bitty room. If you do, you have opportunity. Hey, let's vice this guy where we can get the jack and myself to collision him, take him out of the play, and make it tough on offense with just 2 guys. And it's just basically man-to-man from there. And that motion was initially his read. So there's a lot, like you said, it's chess match. Just like the safety, the middle guy, the middle DB, he's going to look, where is he taking off in his motion? Where is he getting to? Is he getting to the middle of the field to give me a two-way go? Is he staying wide? Okay, if he's too wide, I know necessarily he's not going to run a bench or a corner or a sail. He's going to be coming across my face at some point. So let me settle down a little bit and be able to make my break. He's pushing in a little bit more than normal inside the pro hash. Okay, I could be getting a sail here. I could be getting a corner. It's all about really critiquing and watching film when it comes to that, and knowing the landmarks and knowing your opponent. And you have to do it.
So running high motion is a great dynamic for the arena game, has been for years. From a fan standpoint, does the motion always have to come from the middle, or how can that happen?
No, originally, when it started in the middle, but no, it can come from, we can have a trade look where the middle guy is on the line and the outside guy is running inside of him, or running straight zoom motion on the outside where he would normally be when he would line up on the ball. You could loop him around to the backside guy, which then you would be on a, you would be on the shorter side of the field, and the backside guy would be on the ball, of course, but he would be tight, and you loop outside of him, or you could stay where he is and loop inside of him. There's a lot of different pieces. You can play with it a lot to change up the motion. You can motion from the backside. We can loop around to trips from the middle, inside. We can tighten down, the Z and the wing, and loop outside of them, in between them, inside of both of them. It's a chess game. It's a lot of, pieces to it to where you can pick and choose to see what that defense is going to give you, to see how they're going to react. What are they going to give us every time we run this formation compared to this one? What's our percentage every time we run this? This is what we get. We really want man, so we can take advantage of our 3 guys against their 3 DBs. So every time we do this, mainly we get man. So let's put them in a hard situation, a tough situation, and they're uncomfortable, where it forces them to play man, because this is what they run to it 90% of the time. And picking and choosing.
Right. So excluding myself and our offensive style and our offensive scheme, you've been in the AFL for quite a few years, played for some great coaches. What have you learned, and what were some of the situations and some of those coaches that you've played for, some of the ones that you played with some really good coaches. So how does that translate with some of the styles that you were used to in that aspect?
They're all pretty much similar. you have the normal, that pig system that a lot of people, learn, and a lot of arena styles were pig system. But the game and the verbiage is what's the difference. The game is all the same. It's X's and O's. It's, you got your 3 receivers, you got normal right, left, rage, trips, and the verbiage is basically however they call their receivers. What do they title them as, X or Z or, wing or Y? You got H or shark, But I had some, like you said, I played for some great coaches like Coach Ton. He knew the type of weapons we had. He knew that, okay, I can let T. Lou stretch the field 90% of the time, and I've got CT and Goody where I can send CT middle of the field, and Goody can be my short guy or my mid guy also, and do all the dirty work when needed. Red zone, I can get Goody to do a lot of the dirty work. We can run some run plays with me and CT. He just knew where to put guys and where to place us and to take advantage of what we had as that core. I had a great 6-year stint with Goody. We came in as rookies in Cleveland. Then CT came around our 4th year, and then CT was a part of, we welcomed him with open arms, and he became a brother to us for a good 3 years. And it was just a great run, especially 2014, where I got my first taste of being in an arena bowl, and we came up short. So ever since then, it's just been that drive. And I've always wanted to learn more every time I step out in a practice field or in a game or in a meeting. Coach Ton always used to say, the day you think you know it all, that'll be the last time you play. When we crossed paths, I was eager to learn. I wanted to pick up everything. I wanted to know from A to Z and what you were thinking, as if this happened or if this bad situation happened, what would you do, to where we knew what you were thinking, to think as you, while we're on the field, or what you were thinking, so we'd be on the court even if we didn't say a word.
Right.
You know what I mean? And playing for you, learned a lot, even though, like I said, similar offensive system, different verbiage, same game plan, but you still learn. There's always something you can learn to better yourself. To this day, I watch film on the plays we ran in 2018 and won the championship. I still watch just to see what could I did different, what could I did better.
All right, so you talked a little bit about your past relationship with some of the receivers that you've had on past teams. Talking a little about the Cobras, our wide receiver group is going to be pretty strong. So how is that important for our wide receiver group to come together and play as a group instead of just playing as wide receivers?
I'm excited personally, from the guys we signed and the guys that familiar faces. I've either played with them or played against them. Just knowing that they're all strong-minded and they have that goal that let's win a championship, let's work hard. The thing about it is, even though we all may be leaders in our own different way, and me understanding that, yeah, I am a vocal person, I am a leader, I am a vet compared to a lot of people. I got to understand I may lead by example and I may voice some things, but also I got to know when to learn that person, basically to know when to sit back and understand where they're coming from if they're trying to explain something on their point of view. It's really about how quick we gel together and work as a unit. The faster we get together as a unit, and while we may have a play and I'm running my route, at the same time I know where they're going to be and where I should run my route, or vice versa for them, to where we all work together as a unit. And that's the only way to be successful. If we come in and we're just all on our own agenda first, and it's going to be steadfast, it's going to be, a slope. It's going to be a roller coaster, up and down. The quicker we come in together, which we all pretty much have a good relationship already, just from having this time period of not being in camp already, and we're talking via phone or social media. I feel like we've already started to gather that camaraderie as a group, and looking forward to get after it.
Well, you yourself are a coach and a trainer. What would be some advice that you could give a young wide receiver in your position to kind of build that mentality and prepare not only to be a great wide receiver, but a great teammate?
First of all, in order to lead, you got to be able to listen. You got to be able to learn to be a leader. And then also, the only person that can keep you from accomplishing anything you have set for yourself, any goal, any achievement, the only person to stop you is yourself. If you really want to do something, or you really want to be better in one aspect or all aspects, you got to push yourself to the limit to where you normally wouldn't be. you need to go get a trainer, take that time to go get a trainer. If you really feel like it's your passion and something you really want to do, if your parents don't have a problem with investing in you, have your parents invest in you and invest in you by getting you that extra help, that extra push. Sometimes as athletes, we may have a God-given talent to where we know what to do, but at the same time, that little voice in your ear pushing you that extra mile, that extra step is good to have.
Well, just like every position in every sport, you know, it's a lot more than physical. It's mental too. So that's a big aspect of the game. Again, appreciate you, coming back out. You know, the fans love hearing from you. You know, again, I'm excited for the season, and I'm looking forward to it. And I hope you are.
I appreciate you again, Cobras. Let's get ready.
We're here with Brandon Sutton, defensive lineman, veteran to the arena game, been around for a little bit. Welcome to the show.
Hey man, it's great to be here, man. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, man. We're looking forward to the season, getting there. You know, everything's been waiting on hold, and so how's that? What have you been doing to kind of pass the time?
Passing time. A lot of push-ups, a lot of sit-ups, a lot of walking, a lot of jogging. I ain't doing too much running. You know what I'm saying? When the scale told me 340 pounds, yeah, running is out the window for me. You know what I'm saying? I give you a good jog. I say the running for the field.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some stuff about that to work on that.
Oh yeah, we'll get there.
You know, amongst the working out and the push-ups and sit-ups, you have a pretty unique job. You know that a lot of people don't know about, which is pretty cool. You've been doing it for 3 or 4 years now. Yeah, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, for 3.5 years I've been a behavior specialist. You know what I'm saying, working in group homes around North Carolina. You know what I'm saying, from level 1, 2, 3, and all the way up to level 4. Kids that normally don't have homes. Some come from foster, some come from original families. Some doesn't have original parents at all. You know what I'm saying. So with my job, it entails real deeply. You know what I'm saying. I have to build up a lot of trust. I have to use great communication skills. I have to be very hands-on. You know what I'm saying. But it's almost like going back to your childhood. Playing a game of Uno, playing Connect Four. Hopscotch. Right. Some of the most, back in the day games, incites these kids, they're very excited about it, coloring the picture, you know what I'm saying? Reading a bedtime story, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like raising your own kids all over again.
So transition a little bit to the football side of it. How does your background and your experience kind of translate to that job? Because I know that could be pretty stressful sometimes. So what are some of the characteristics you take from that to kind of help you?
Being a leader. Normally with the job, when crisis situation goes down, I'm the first one they call, and football wise, when things are getting down, D-line needs a push, Sutton, get them in line is normally what I always hear, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't take long, I'm one of those kind of players, that, you have a great time with me, enjoy it, but I can turn it on just like that with the snap of the finger. And when I turn it on and they know I'm on, they all come on. As good as I look, I am 31. A lot of people don't believe me when I tell them I'm 31, but I played with guys 21 years old, but I've also played with guys that was 38, and so, 9 years in the game, you had to learn that level of communication, and when you communicate, like for my job aspect, communicating with kids 11 and 12 years old to always, coaches and grown-ups, past the age of 40, the communication skill has always been my strong suit, so everything kind of just worked out.
Tell the fans a little bit about your background, where you came from, and talk about like some of your college days and whatnot.
Well, I was born and raised in Kinston, North Carolina. Shout out to Eastern North Carolina. We hold it down there in the 252. I spent majority of my early childhood all the way up to 6th grade in Kinston, North Carolina schools, and from 7th grade all the way until I graduated, I was down in Snow Hill, North Carolina, graduated from Green Central High School, go Rams. Became a father when I was 16 years old, so I was pretty young, which was a big drastic turnaround in my life. At that point in time, I really didn't know what I was going to do, but I had a great, family support system. When football has just always been almost like my fraternity, brotherhood was huge, and like I said, having 6 other brothers and 1 sister, the transition was, it was hard. From that point, when my daughter was born in October 27, 2006, I just knew that I had a purpose. I found my why in life early, and some people, took it as, his life is over, you know, and me, I took it as, you know, a motivation to keep going, you know. So I dedicated my whole senior year, you know, to my daughter, and had a pretty successful football year. I was, you know, all conference, all state, all American, all of that from Green Central. I was that guy, you know, and but it was never a time where I was boastful about it. You know, I knew exactly after practice, I knew who I was going home to. You know, after we won every game, I knew who I was going home to. Even the losses, the blessings continued to come, you know, academically as well. I ended up getting a full academic and athletic scholarship to Catawba College in Salisbury, North Carolina. You know, go Indians. You know, I spent a great 4 years there. You know, I was heavily recruited. NFL teams, you know, Tennessee Titans was huge. You know, they visited me a whole lot my senior year, and when it was about that time, I ended up sustaining a huge injury. I tore my MCL and PCL in my left knee. And that was just kind of like a real crucial time because I missed like the last 4 games. And it was rough, you know what I'm saying? Because even I was able to return for the final game of the season, but by that time my draft stock was completely forgot about. I had my beliefs that if it was meant for me to, you know, have my chance in the NFL again, it'd come. You know, unfortunately it didn't happen, you know what I'm saying? But of course, you know, I appreciated the process and the private workouts and everything, and the process with the Tennessee Titans and everything. And by 2012, I was playing in Richmond, Virginia, you know, with the Richmond Raiders. But it's been a long road, you know what I'm saying? 9 years, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of guys only do maybe 1 or 2 years, maybe don't make it out, maybe it's not what they seen. I've seen some guys come in for a week, you know, and give it away, you know what I'm saying? But it takes a lot of, you know, hard work, dedication, studying film, and, you know, it's always good, and like I said, yourself, you know, having a great, you know, coach, you know what I'm saying, as a guide along this long journey, because it was many times I could have walked away. You know, like I said, since I've probably played arena ball now for 9 years, I've had probably every finger broken, dislocated, probably sprained every ankle at least 3-4 times a game, and dislocated shoulder, elbow. Last season I broke my hand. 2014 I had a real bad concussion injury, you know what I'm saying, in the championship game, you know. So it's been a lot of ups and downs and a lot of times where I could have just walked away. But, you know, around that time, when that February or March comes around and you just start getting that certain sniff in the air, and it's like, yeah, I'm not sitting down.
Well, you know, one of the things for me as a coach, you know, from a football aspect, you know, the wins and everything's great and helping as many people as possible. But the things that we try to do as coaches is try to find ways that football can translate to life. And from our fans, you know, we got a lot of young fans here in the community. And you talk about, you know, you face adversity at a very young age. You talk about could have walked away from football in here, but I think a lot of that kind of was built from your past and growing up. And, you know, you said having a child at 16. You know, in our community, there's the teen pregnancy rate is pretty high. So there's a lot of those issues. So how can you probably give some advice to someone in that situation to where how can they keep going and find that, you know, something like you did to keep drive? Because a lot of people, you know, would have just stopped and tried to figure out what they're going to do now, you know, and you didn't do that. So how can you maybe give some advice for, you know, a young male that's watching this?
I mean, young male, young female, you know, in life, you know, I've learned that, you know, you're going to have a mom, you might have a dad, maybe have a loss here and there, a step parent may come in. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. You know, you're the only one that can make your path. The main thing I try to tell my youth and everything now is sometimes when you feel like things are just getting really overwhelming and when you feel like things just can't be done, just take a step back. Just take a deep breath and just look into the mirror and say, yes, I can. And when you say that, realize you're saying I, as in me. So if a change needs to happen, it needs to start with you. It doesn't need to start with my brother down the hallway. It doesn't even need to start with my parents in the front room. If I want to play football and I want to be successful, I know I got to do push-ups on my own. If I don't got weights, I got to go outside and run on my own. You know, if I don't have weights, I'll go outside and pick up a tree as many times as I can. You know, I'm going to run until I don't have any breath left. I'm going to drink water. You know, I'm not going to go outside and smoke tobacco with my friends. I'm not going to try to put marijuana in my body because I need my body, you know, and I'm young, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of those options may come, you know what I'm saying? Going to the school dance, live your life, you know what I'm saying? Don't just put your whole life on hold, you know what I'm saying? But you know, if if Chuck and them told you that, they was all gonna jump Timmy at the school dance, you know what? I'll wait for the next school dance because you just never know what could have happened that night that could change my life drastically. So sometimes you just have to dare to be different. You know what I'm saying? And I have no problem. I had no problem, becoming different. And I figured that out early. Like I said, being a father at 16, I lost a lot of friends. You know what I'm saying? When I got injured my senior year in college, I probably had, I can't even tell you how many friends that I thought I had, from Facebook and from MySpace at the time. It was really crazy. You know what I'm saying? And like when I got injured, and kind of fell off the Richter scale for probably about 6 or 7 months until people knew I started playing arena ball, like my phone was very dry. You know what I'm saying? I might have had the same 3 to 5 people, maybe outside of my family. I really had a lot of family members that kind of, stopped calling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, it gets you in that mode where you could be depressed. But I'm thinking to myself, if I be depressed, what is that going to benefit? But once I found my why, I continued and I pursued it. And, it's the reason why I'm very successful today, because I stuck with my why.
So talking a little bit about going back to the end of, you had your injury, you recovered, you went to had that Titans workout. The last few shows we talked about transition from outside football to the arena game. What was your mindset after your Titans workout of like what direction you were trying to do, and when the opportunity came for arena, like what did you do to prepare for that opportunity?
When I got that random phone call, from James Fuller, he was just like, hey man, read about you, heard about you, you know what I'm saying? Have you ever heard of arena football? Told him no, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, well, I want you to come down to Richmond, you know what I'm saying? And I ended up taking that trip down to Richmond, Virginia, and it happened to magically a scout appeared, from the Titans. And it was kind of like, oh man, okay, all right, you know what I'm saying? So it was a blessing in disguise, and it was more like, even if this doesn't work out, God presented me with a second chance, you know what I'm saying? And now I'm a whole lot more healthier than I was, and maybe a year had passed by, you know what I'm saying? But maybe they haven't forgot about me, you know what I'm saying? I had a great workout, you know what I'm saying? Some great one-on-ones, and I got a lot of great feedback and some negative feedback as well, and you can expect that, you know what I'm saying? Because in the beginning, you may be feeling real good, you're energetic, you know what I'm saying? But by the fourth quarter, you're a little fatigued, you know what I'm saying? Now you might find yourself taking a step too wide, or you might end up making the wrong hand placement as a defensive lineman. At that time, I was considered a swing guy because I could play center as well, I could play guard as well, and actually got a little reps in at fullback as well. So being able to, adjust to all those different positions, you know what I'm saying, was a blessing in disguise. But in the beginning, it was hard, because coming from a 3 technique outside to now everything's narrowed in, like I can't do that little special spin move I used to like to the right, because if I go all the way out there, man, everything's ran so quick. Like the quarterback's getting the ball out. I'm talking about sometimes less than 2 seconds. And it's like, man, how can I get to this guy? You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay. Then there's a little fullback pops. I'm like, man, he handed that ball off fast. Like, okay, this is what I got to do. There's no more of this dancing stuff. I got to get in the middle of the action. You know what I'm saying? So I told Coach Fuller, like, man, I need to be in the middle. I need to see what's going on. I need to put my hands on this center. I need to control his chest. I need to be able to look left or right and make my move and go. And that's all I needed to do. And I told him from there, I said, I'm sorry, I don't even really want to play defensive end no more. You know what I'm saying? I said, that's not my strong suit anymore. You know what I'm saying? I done put some weight on. I ain't 285 no more, 290 like I was in college. You know what I'm saying? I'm up to like 310 now. So I'm like, I need to go where I can, really produce for you, and I just been a nose guard for the last 9 years, and so it's been a blessing to still be able to, wake up out of bed and my knees are not popping yet, so that's a blessing.
So here we are with the Cobras, Carolina Cobras in the National Arena League. We've been with each other for a couple seasons now.
Oh yeah.
You joined the Cobras last year in 2019 season. Talk a little bit about that, how your role was when you joined the team and kind of that process.
In 9 years, I went to 5 championships, lost all 5 championships. So losing, is always been a sour taste, and I think that's a sour taste in anybody's mouth. But the ability to get back up, has always been that motivational key. Because I played with guys that got 2 or 3 rings. I played with guys that got 4 years in college worth of rings, you know what I'm saying? So they thinking like, I got my 4 rings in college, I'm good. I only got 2 rings, so, and it wasn't on a professional level yet. So I'm still, I just kind of almost refuse in my mind to retire from the professional level until I get me a ring, and, getting back to the championship last year, like to just taste the victory, it was like right there. But I have never bought my heart to see the game again. So I haven't even looked at it on YouTube. I haven't looked at it at all, so I haven't really looked at it myself, because I just can't even just imagine the thought process that'll run again. But I know in my heart, and I know with your expertise and your skill and with the great coaching staff you're bringing in and with the players that we got signed, I know we're going to be right back. There's not a doubt in my mind. We're going to be right back where we was, and after we win it, then we can look back at that one and laugh.
Knowing what you got to do to be better for going in for 2020 for our goal to win a championship. Really, you've had a lot of success through the years. Your knock on you really has been injury prone, getting hurt, constantly getting hurt each year. Each year you have an injury. You got hurt some last year, battled that. What are you going to do going into 2020 to help make us be successful to reach a championship and also take care of your health for you to make it through the season?
The main thing is, and embarrassing enough as it is, I started going to the doctor for the first time in my life. As men, we don't really go to doctors, you know what I'm saying? We might have a little stomach ache here, like, oh yeah, it's cool. Random headaches here, oh man, I'm good, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing. I finally went to the doctor and I found out that, I had high blood pressure real bad, and they were telling me I need to cut back on this and cut back on that. And I mean, as a big man, we like to eat, you know what I'm saying? But it's a certain way to, feed the body, you know what I'm saying? And the body's only going to respond to what you put in it. My ritual before every game, I used to eat a whole bag of M&Ms, peanut M&Ms, yellow bag. If you know me, I love them, you know what I'm saying? And that may not have been the healthiest choice at times, you know what I'm saying? And I shied away from a lot of vegetables for a long time but since this year started and knowing about my health now and, doing a lot of research and stuff like that, I've done a lot of yoga, stretching, and I've never realized how tense muscles really can be until I realized, like, man, as tense as this muscle is here and there, man, if I cut too fast the wrong way, man, I can pull this thing out of socket so quick if it's not stretched. And it's even with my hands, as much as I fire off and I'm slapping and I'm dipping and I'm ripping, I got like 5 different stress balls that, my hands just feel so relieved now, and I've been telling myself that this is going to be my last year, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if it's going to be my last year, but in my mind, I'm telling myself that. And if it is going to be my last year, I'm going out with a bang. And I'm going to make sure that I'm healthy from the beginning to the end. So I'm definitely, like I said, sometimes we put an icy hot on my body when I don't even need it. But I just want to go ahead and get that feeling, you know what I'm saying? Because it's loosening up those muscles that I can't really physically touch and make better, you know what I'm saying? So, I've just been like just really doctoring myself up a whole lot, you know what I'm saying? And if I was doing something wrong, COVID-19 has definitely gave me a chance to try something else, So, I mean, I guess it was a blessing in disguise, But like I said, right now I feel like I'm ready to go 4 quarters. And if I had to go into overtime, I'm ready.
Well, it sounds like you got a plan and you're taking care of yourself, and it seems like your background, thanks for sharing everything with your story and whatnot. One thing we try to do is let the players put out there for their social media. Believe it or not, we got some players that don't really deal with social media a lot.
I don't blame them.
So, but I know you don't shy away from social media.
Nah,
so
I don't.
How could the fans follow you leading up to the season and whatnot?
I mean, I'm right there on Facebook, Brandon Sutton, my profile picture is very hot, so in my mind, I feel like I'm an R&B singer. So on the cover of my Facebook profile, you'll see me with some shade glasses on, with the nighttime background, with my dreadlocks hanging in the back. They braided up right now, so I might change the picture soon. But you can type in Brandon Sutton, right on Facebook, Instagram. If you know me, my alias is Savion Sincere, SAVIYONSINCERE, and you'll see me on Instagram as well, and a workout picture, showing the guns, of course. Let's see. That's probably the main 2 places you'll see me. I got a Twitter. I got a Twitter as well. I get up there random times. The Beast 90. But you can just type my name in on Twitter as well. It'll pop up. So Snapchat as well as Savion Sincere, so I'm always on my Snapchat. My kids really got me really playing around with that a lot and the filters and stuff, and my daughter keeps me, she's telling me I'm old school, so I try to stay hip, as they call it these days, so I kind of really respond to my social media a whole lot, to try to be a part of the community. I don't shy away from, the attentions. I don't have no problem showing up for birthday parties. If you're cooking dinner, I'm there. I'm a people person. I may be big and look scary sometimes, but I'm great. I'll walk your dog for you. I'm a people person, I've just always been down to earth.
Well, appreciate your time. As always, I'm looking forward to another great season with you.
Yeah, most definitely.
Great expectation for us. We've got a lot to do, a lot of stuff to make happen. That's going to wrap it up with another episode of Cobras Corner. I'm Coach Rez, and again, you can follow us on CarolinaCobras.com. You can follow us on social media. Stay up to date, and we'll see you soon.